The curved glass dome of Nova City glimmered in the autumn light, casting prismatic reflections across the urban landscape. From her vantage point on the 73rd floor of the Atmospheric Research Institute, Dr. Lena Ortiz watched as seasonal weather patterns shifted across the northern hemisphere. Climate disruption indicators blinked softly on her holographic display, showing minor anomalies, but nothing outside seasonal parameters. "Another beautiful day in our bubble," she murmured, taking a sip from her steaming mug. The year 2254 had been relatively stable for Earth's recovering atmosphere. After centuries of abuse, the planet was finally showing signs of healing, thanks to the tireless efforts of scientists like her. The peaceful moment shattered as her communication panel lit up with urgent alerts. Across the room, her assistant's voice rose in alarm. "Dr. Ortiz, the Planetary Alliance fleet is entering low orbit. They're initiating an atmospheric scan." Lena's heart skipped. The Planetary Alliance, the grand coalition of 57 advanced civilizations across the solar galaxy, rarely visited Earth unless it was for trade or diplomatic matters. Atmospheric scans were different. They were regulatory assessments, the first step in evaluating a planet's viability and compliance with interstellar environmental protocols. "How many ships?" she asked, striding to the central holotable. 7 vessels, Bractanus class. They're dispersing into scanning formation." The holotable illuminated with real-time imagery of sleek, metallic vessels spreading across Earth's upper atmosphere. Their scanner arrays unfolded like vast, glowing webs, casting a pale blue light downward. "They didn't notify us," Lena said, frowning. "Protocol dictated at least 30 days' notice before any atmospheric intervention. Get me Earth Federation headquarters." Before her assistant could establish the connection, the room darkened. Every screen in the Institute flickered, then displayed the same message in bold, red letters. "Preliminary scan results. Atmospheric anomaly, detected oxygen. Nitrogen ratio, critical imbalance. Organic particulate concentration, exceeding protocol. B recommendation, full planetary quarantine." A moment later, a formal communication arrived from the Bractanus fleet commander. "Earth's atmosphere has been contaminated beyond recovery parameters. This planet can no longer sustain life safely. Full atmospheric purge recommended. You have 72 hours to evacuate essential personnel to orbital facilities." Lena stared at the message, disbelief washing over her. "That's impossible," she whispered. "Our readings show no such contamination." But the Planetary Alliance had spoken, and their word was practically law in this sector of space. Within hours, panic spread across Earth. News outlets broadcast apocalyptic headlines. Markets crashed. Food prices skyrocketed. Military forces were placed on high alert. 6 billion people faced the unthinkable prospect of atmospheric collapse or forced evacuation, neither of which was feasible. The Earth Federation Emergency Council convened at Nova City's government complex, with Lena among the scientists summoned to address the crisis. "Our instruments show nothing close to what the Alliance is claiming," she insisted, presenting her team's data. "Oxygen levels are normal. Nitrogen balance is stable. Yes, there are trace elements from industrial activity, but nothing approaching danger thresholds." Ambassador Marcus Flynn, Earth's diplomatic representative to the Alliance, looked grim. "The Bractanus fleet uses scanning technology far more advanced than ours. If they detected contamination, we must take it seriously." "Or," Lena countered, "their readings are wrong. There's interference in their data. I'm certain of it." The room fell silent. Questioning Alliance technology was nearly heretical. "What are you suggesting, Dr. Ortiz?" asked the Federation president. "I'm suggesting we verify their findings independently before 6 billion people face evacuation or worse. Let me assemble a team, requisition a research vessel, and get actual atmospheric samples at the same coordinates they scanned. If there's contamination, we'll find it." "And if there isn't?" Flynn asked. Then, we'll have evidence to present to the Alliance. Something is causing false readings in their systems, and we need to identify it. After heated debate, the Council authorized Lena's mission. She was given command of the Juno Star, an atmospheric research vessel, and 72 hours to gather evidence before the Alliance's deadline expired. As she assembled her team, factions emerged within Earth's leadership. Phoenix Corporation, Earth's largest industrial conglomerate, publicly supported immediate evacuation of key personnel to orbital habitats. Their CEO, Victor Mail, appeared on global broadcasts advocating compliance with Alliance directives. "We cannot risk the entire planet on the slim hope that the Alliance is wrong," he argued. "The color of our sky is changing. The blue we once knew is fading." Meanwhile, a grassroots movement called Keep Earth Breathing organized protests worldwide, condemning the Alliance as interstellar invaders, while Lena's empirical research group called for calm and scientific verification. The Juno Star departed Earth amidst this turmoil, navigating through the solar asteroid belt and around the Mars-Mercury outposts, known as redark orbit, for refueling. A Planetary Alliance patrol squadron shadowed them discreetly, monitoring their every move. Aboard the ship, Lena worked with her core team, Dr. Amara Singh, an atmospheric chemist, and signal engineer Matt Reyes, comparing data compression algorithms and examining the potential for malware interference in the Bractanis sensors. The Alliance scanners use quantum diffraction to analyze molecular composition, Matt explained, fingers dancing across holographic controls. But if someone introduced a calibration shift in their baseline algorithms, they'd see contamination where none exists, Lena finished. "Can you prove it?" "Not without access to their original firmware and raw data." Their investigation was complicated by internal sabotage. A radical faction aboard the Juno Star, led by former Phoenix Corporation geologist Victor Mail, attempted to seize the bridge, claiming the mission was futile and dangerous. "The blue of the sky is gone!" Miles shouted, as security personnel restrained him. "We must evacuate before it's too late." Lena couldn't understand his fanaticism. The sky remained as blue as ever, according to all their instruments. Something deeper was happening, something beyond atmospheric science. After navigating through an unexpected electromagnetic storm that nearly crippled their communications array, the Juno Star finally approached the Bractanis hub at Earth's L2 Lagrange point, a massive, wheel-shaped station commanded by General Solaris of the Planetary Alliance. "Your request for access to raw scan data is denied," Solaris informed them upon docking. "Alliance scanning protocols are classified defense technology." Lena stood her ground. 6 billion lives are at stake. General, at least allow us to compare our atmospheric samples with your readings. After tense negotiations, Solaris reluctantly granted limited access to the hub's data center, conditional on Lena providing Earth's current atmospheric status reports. While Matt interfaced with the Bractanis systems, Dr. Amara Singh made a startling discovery in the firmware. "There's hidden baseline code," she whispered to Lena, careful to avoid nearby Alliance personnel. "It's altering the interpretation of scan results." Matt confirmed. "The algorithm flags any atmosphere with free water content above 0.3% as life incompatible. Earth's current level is 0.29%, but the scanner is reporting 0.35%. "That's absurd," Lena said. "Water vapor is essential for our ecosystem." As they worked to copy the evidence, alarms blared throughout the hub. Victor Mail had somehow escaped custody aboard the Juno Star and infiltrated the station's hologrid network infrastructure with a team of Phoenix Corporation operatives. They were systematically corrupting the hub's database, attempting to erase the evidence Lena's team had discovered. "This is sabotage!" General Solaris roared, ordering his security forces to respond. In the chaos, Lena found herself fighting alongside Solaris and a mysterious Alliance intelligence officer named Tyrix to protect the data center from Miles' forces. Why would he destroy evidence that could save Earth? Lena asked, as they barricaded themselves in the central server room. Perhaps, Tyrix replied, because the evidence would implicate him in something far worse than atmospheric contamination. With Matt's help, they managed to secure a complete copy of the unaltered scanner data and the manipulated firmware. The results were shocking. Earth's atmosphere was well within safety parameters and had been for over 10,000 years. But there was something else. Something the Alliance scanners had detected but misinterpreted. Trace elements of radioactive iodine decay, originating from the Antarctic seabed, precisely where Phoenix Corporation maintained a deep-sea research facility called Hermes. They've been conducting illegal nuclear testing, Amara realized, analyzing the isotope patterns, creating localized atmospheric disturbances that triggered the Alliance scanners. Armed with this evidence, Lena demanded an emergency hearing before the Alliance Assessment Council aboard their command ship, Sentinel X. General Solaris attempted to block their request, citing Regulation 42.7. Any planet with high signal noise must be isolated. But Lena had two bombshells. The original code showing Earth's atmosphere was safe, and video footage of radioactive iodine trails from Phoenix Corporation's submarine research vessel conducting underwater nuclear tests in Antarctica, deliberately altering regional atmospheric balance. The confrontation reached its peak in the Assessment Council chamber. General Solaris ordered a communications blackout and prepared to expel Lena's team, even threatening to destroy the Juno star. But Lena and Tyrix simultaneously invoked the fail-safe command, an emergency diplomatic protocol that forced Solaris to summon the Assessment Council chairman, Edwan Koresh. When Koresh arrived, he opened a galaxy-wide livestream. Lena presented her evidence, hacking into the Alliance master node to prevent any deletion attempts. Phoenix Corporation has been conducting illegal nuclear experiments to develop antimatter fuel, she explained. They manipulated your scanning systems to hide their activities, planning to blame natural atmospheric deterioration and position themselves as the only solution providers. Chairman Koresh, visibly disturbed by the evidence, issued an immediate halt to the atmospheric purge protocols and ordered an internal investigation of both Phoenix Corporation and the Bractanis hub. This council operates on truth, not deception, he declared. Earth will remain under observation, but no action will be taken against its atmosphere. The Bractanis fleet withdrew, recalibrating their scanners with corrected algorithms. Earth was placed on a priority monitoring list, but the immediate threat had passed. Phoenix Corporation's nuclear research divisions were frozen, pending a full investigation for environmental crimes. Victor Mile was apprehended, attempting to flee to an outer colony, and faced charges of sabotage and conspiracy. Lena was invited to address the Alliance Council, where she advocated for transparency in scientific measurement. No private entity should ever manipulate global data for profit. The atmosphere belongs to all life, not to corporations. Earth's population, which had been holding its collective breath, now watched as Phoenix Corporation faced the Alliance's judgment. A movement supporting climate innovation through science gained momentum, emphasizing research transparency and ecological responsibility. 6 months later, Chairman Koresh announced a new Planetary Environmental Accord, redefining atmospheric measurement standards to protect planets with diverse natural ecosystems. Earth was officially designated a Galactic Environmental Conservation Zone. Phoenix Corporation, under new leadership, signed environmental reparation agreements, committing to build atmospheric regeneration centers across 5 critical regions: Antarctica, the Atlantic Ocean, the Sahara Desert, the Amazon, and northern Canada. Dr. Lena Ortiz received the title Atmospheric Guardian of the Solar System and an Alliance research grant to expand her work on planetary environments. Together with Tyrix and Amara Singh, she returned to Nova City to develop the Region X Natural Environment Restoration Conference System. Though immediate disaster had been averted, Rumors persisted of Phoenix Corporation extremists working to regain atmospheric control. The battle between transparent science and private resource exploitation was far from over. As Lena stood once again at her window in the Atmospheric Research Institute, watching the sunset paint Nova City in hues of gold and crimson, she knew the sky would remain blue, but only through eternal vigilance. "The air we breathe," she wrote in her journal that night, "is the most democratic resource in the universe. It belongs to all of us, to every species, to every generation yet unborn, and we are its guardians, now and forever." The morning alarms jolted Lena from uneasy sleep. Her dreams had been filled with swirling blue scanners and Victor Mail's face contorted in rage. She dressed quickly and made her way to the Institute's Central Command Center, where a three-dimensional holographic projection of Earth's atmosphere rotated slowly. "Status report?" she asked, accepting a steaming cup from Amara. "Atmospheric composition stable. No anomalies detected in any quadrant," Amara replied, gesturing to the green indicators surrounding the projection. "Alliance monitoring satellites confirm our readings." 6 months had passed since the crisis, but Lena remained vigilant. Phoenix Corporation's public disgrace had transformed the global conversation about environmental stewardship. But powerful interests didn't simply disappear. "Any updates from the tribunal?" she asked. Matt Reyes looked up from his console. "Victor Mail's testimony resumes today. He's still claiming Phoenix was framed by eco-terrorists, despite all evidence to the contrary." Lena shook her head. The ability of the powerful to deny reality never ceased to amaze her. The communication panel chimed, displaying an incoming transmission from the Planetary Alliance. Chairman Koresh's lined face appeared on screen. "Dr. Ortiz," he greeted her formally. "The Assessment Council requires your presence for the final phase of the Phoenix Corporation hearings." "Of course, Chairman. When shall I depart?" "Immediately. The Sentinel-X will rendezvous with your orbital shuttle in 6 hours." After he disconnected, Lena turned to her team. "I need all the data we've collected on Antarctic radiation patterns since the incident. Phoenix's lawyers will try to minimize their culpability." "Already compiled," Amara assured her. "I've also prepared a temporal analysis showing the correlation between their testing schedule and atmospheric disturbances." As Lena prepared for departure, a notification appeared on her personal device, an anonymous message routed through multiple encryption layers. "Phoenix never dies. The sky will fall. Watch your back." She showed it to Matt, who immediately began tracing its origin. "Sophisticated encryption," he muttered. "But there's something familiar about the routing pattern." "Phoenix loyalists?" "Possibly. I'll keep digging." The shuttle ride to the rendezvous point was tense. Lena reviewed her testimony while watching Earth recede beneath her, a blue and white jewel against the blackness of space. So fragile, yet so resilient. Sentinel-X was an imposing vessel, nearly 2 kilometers in length, its hull adorned with the symbols of the 57 Alliance civilizations. As Lena's shuttle docked, she was greeted by Tyrix, now promoted to Alliance Security Coordinator. "Dr. Ortiz," he said, bowing slightly. "It's good to see you again." "Likewise, Coordinator, though I wish it were under different circumstances." Tyrix lowered his voice as they walked through the gleaming corridors. "Be careful. Phoenix has allies within the Alliance, powerful people who benefited from their technology. Some council members want this whole affair quietly dismissed." "That's not going to happen," Lena said firmly. "Not while I have breath to testify." The hearing chamber was a vast amphitheater, with delegates from across the galaxy arranged in concentric rings. At the center stood Victor Mail, flanked by Phoenix Corporation attorneys. He looked thinner than Lena remembered, but his eyes still burned with the same fanatical intensity. Chairman Koresh called the session to order. "We gather to conclude the investigation into Phoenix Corporation's atmospheric interference and regulatory sabotage. Dr. Lena Ortiz, Earth's atmospheric guardian, We'll present the final evidence. As Lena approached the central podium, Miles' gaze locked onto hers. The sky is dying, he mouthed silently. For 3 hours, Lena methodically presented the evidence. Isotope analyses, testing schedules, firmware manipulation logs, and most damning internal Phoenix communications discussing how to recalibrate public perception of acceptable atmospheric risk. Phoenix Corporation deliberately created localized atmospheric disturbances, she concluded. Then manipulated Alliance scanning technology to misidentify these disturbances as global contamination. Their goal was to position themselves as the only solution provider for a crisis they themselves manufactured. Victor Mail requested the right to respond, which Koresh granted. Dr. Ortiz speaks with the limited understanding of planetary science, he began, his voice smooth and controlled. Phoenix Corporation has always operated with humanity's best interests at heart. Yes, we conducted advanced research that could have revolutionized energy production, but we never endangered Earth's atmosphere. He gestured dramatically to the chamber's viewports, where Earth was visible in the distance. Look at our world. Its skies grow more turbid each year. Natural processes are failing. Phoenix sought only to prepare humanity for the inevitable, the day when our atmosphere would no longer sustain us. By accelerating that day, Lena interjected. Mail smiled thinly. By ensuring we would have alternatives when it arrived. The Alliance overreacted to anomalous readings. Phoenix became a convenient scapegoat. The debate continued for hours, with council members questioning both sides. When the final statements concluded, Chairman Koresh announced that the council would deliberate in private. Lena was escorted to guest quarters to await their decision. As she sat reviewing her notes, the door chimed. Enter, she called, expecting Tyrix or another Alliance official. Instead, a service robot glided in, carrying a sealed package. Delivery for Dr. Ortiz, it announced in a synthesized voice. I didn't order anything, Lena said cautiously. It was sent by Chairman Koresh, the robot replied, placing the package on a table before departing. Lena scanned the package for explosives or contaminants using her personal device. Finding nothing dangerous, she carefully opened it. Inside was a data crystal and a handwritten note. The truth is bigger than Phoenix. Watch this alone. A friend. Curiosity overcoming caution. Lena inserted the crystal into her secure tablet. Encrypted files unlocked automatically, revealing documents bearing Alliance security classifications far above her clearance level. The files contained monitoring reports of other planets' atmospheres, dozens of worlds across multiple systems. Each report showed the same pattern. Atmospheric anomalies detected, purification recommended, then massive corporate contracts awarded to remediate the contamination. Phoenix Corporation wasn't acting alone. They were part of an interstellar consortium that had been manufacturing environmental crises for decades, with complicity from high-ranking Alliance officials. The final document was most disturbing, a strategic assessment of Earth, identifying it as resistant to standard intervention protocols due to its unusually dedicated scientific community. Lena's hands trembled as she removed the crystal. This wasn't just about Phoenix or Earth anymore. It was about a galaxy-wide conspiracy to control planetary atmospheres, the most fundamental resource for all life. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. When she opened the door, Tyrix stood outside, expression grave. They're about to announce the verdict, he said. But first, we need to talk. He glanced at the data crystal in her hand. I see someone found you. You know about this? She asked, holding up the crystal. I was part of the team that compiled it. There's a faction within Alliance intelligence that's been tracking the consortium for years. Earth isn't the first target, but it's the first to successfully resist. Why reveal this now? Because the Council's verdict won't address the real problem. Phoenix will be penalized, but the larger conspiracy will continue. We need your help, Dr. Ortiz. Your world escaped this time, but others won't be so fortunate. Lena thought of the billions who had faced evacuation or worse. How many other worlds had already suffered that fate? "What can I do?" she asked. "Testify again, not just about Phoenix, but about the entire consortium. We have the evidence, but we need a respected voice, someone the galaxy will listen to." "That would mean challenging the Alliance leadership directly," Lena said. "The political blowback would be enormous." "Yes," Tyrix agreed. "But the alternative is allowing them to continue weaponizing atmospheric science against unsuspecting worlds." Before she could respond, her communication panel chimed with an emergency alert from Earth. Matt's face appeared, his expression tense. "Lena, we've got trouble. Phoenix loyalists have seized control of 3 atmospheric regeneration centers. They're threatening to release experimental compounds unless the Alliance drops all charges." "Casualties?" "Minimal so far. But they've got hostages. And there's more. We traced that encrypted message. It came from someone on Sentinel X, someone with Alliance security credentials." The pieces clicked into place. The crisis wasn't over. It was evolving. Phoenix had been planning this all along, a contingency to force the Alliance's hand if the legal proceedings went against them. "I need to get back to Earth," Lena said. Tyrix shook his head. "You can't. Not until the Council announces its verdict. Protocol." "Damn protocol! My planet is under attack." "And if you violate Council procedures now, you'll undermine everything you've accomplished." Tyrix countered. "Let me help. I can dispatch Alliance security forces to assist Earth's military." Reluctantly, Lena agreed. While Tyrix coordinated the response, she prepared to face the Council one final time, not just to hear Phoenix's verdict, but to expose the larger conspiracy. As she entered the chamber, the assembled delegates fell silent. Chairman Koresh nodded to her, then addressed the gathering. "The Council has reached its decision regarding Phoenix Corporation. For crimes against planetary safety, manipulation of Alliance systems, and conducting prohibited nuclear experiments, Phoenix Corporation is hereby dissolved. Its assets will be redistributed to fund atmospheric restoration projects across Earth. Victor Mile and 6 other executives are sentenced to 20 years rehabilitation on the penal colony of Tartarus." Male, standing in the defendant's circle, showed no reaction. His face remained impassive, almost satisfied, as if this outcome had been anticipated. "Before the session concludes," Koresh continued, "Dr. Ortiz has requested the opportunity to address the Council on a related matter." All eyes turned to Lena as she stepped forward. This was the moment of truth, literally. She could accept the verdict and return to Earth, or she could challenge the entire system that had allowed this crisis to develop. She thought of the data crystal, of Tyrix's revelation, of the other worlds that had already fallen victim to this scheme, and she made her choice. "Honorable Chairman, esteemed delegates of the Planetary Alliance," she began. "The verdict against Phoenix Corporation addresses a symptom, not the disease. I have evidence that Phoenix was merely one player in a galaxy-wide conspiracy to manufacture atmospheric crises for profit." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Koresh's expression remained neutral, but several council members shifted uncomfortably. "This conspiracy involves corporations from multiple worlds, working in concert with elements within the Alliance itself," Lena continued, activating her tablet to project the evidence for all to see. "They have targeted dozens of planets, manipulated scanner readings, and profited from the resulting panic through remediation contracts." The chamber erupted in chaos. Some delegates shouted for her to be silenced, while others demanded to examine the evidence. Koresh repeatedly called for order. Through it all, Lena stood firm, methodically presenting document after document, world after world that had fallen victim to the scheme. "Earth was targeted because our atmospheric research capabilities were seen as a threat to this conspiracy," she explained. "When the standard tactics failed, Phoenix resorted to direct sabotage. And now, Even as we speak, their loyalists are attacking Earth's regeneration centers, hoping to force our compliance through terror. She fixed her gaze on Koresh. Chairman, I call for an immediate expansion of the investigation to include all entities implicated in these documents, regardless of their position or influence. The atmosphere of every world belongs to its people, not to corporations or conspirators. For several long moments, silence gripped the chamber. Then, from his command position, Chairman Koresh spoke. These are grave accusations. Dr. Ortiz, if proven true, they represent the most serious breach of Alliance principles in our history. He turned to address the full council. I hereby establish a special investigative authority with full access to all Alliance records, communications, and personnel. Dr. Ortiz will serve as scientific advisor to this authority. No entity, regardless of status, will be exempt from scrutiny. From the defendant's circle, Victor Mael began to laugh, a cold, hollow sound that echoed through the chamber. You think this changes anything? He called out. The sky is already falling. You've just removed the only people who could save it. As he spoke, alarms blared throughout Sentinel-X. On the main view screen, images appeared of explosions at Earth's atmospheric regeneration centers. The Phoenix loyalists had triggered their deadman switches. All Alliance vessels in Earth orbit, Koresh commanded. Render immediate assistance. Priority 1. Stabilize the regeneration centers. As the Council dissolved into emergency response mode, Lena found herself working alongside Tyrix and Alliance environmental specialists to assess the damage and coordinate countermeasures. The compounds they've released are designed to accelerate water vapor conversion, a specialist explained, examining the data streaming in from Earth. They're trying to push the atmosphere past that 0.3% threshold to trigger Alliance purge protocols. Can we neutralize them? Lena asked. Possibly, with the right catalytic agents. But we'd need to deploy them globally within 12 hours. Lena contacted her team at Nova City. Amara, we need a catalytic solution for vapor-to-liquid conversion that can be deployed via the high-atmosphere seeders. I've already started formulating one, Amara replied, her image flickering with static. Matt's working on reprogramming the seeders. But Lena, the Phoenix operatives are targeting us directly now. They've breached the Institute's lower levels. Hold position, Lena ordered. Alliance security forces are en route. Just focus on that catalyst. For the next 10 hours, Lena coordinated a desperate race against time. Alliance vessels deployed emergency containment fields around the compromised regeneration centers, while scientific teams from 57 worlds collaborated on neutralizing the released compounds. At Nova City, Amara and Matt worked under siege conditions, transmitting their formula to Alliance ships that would distribute it through Earth's upper atmosphere. When the catalyst was finally deployed, the entire planet held its breath. Would it work? Or would Earth's atmosphere tip past the point of no return? Hour by agonizing hour, the readings stabilized. Water vapor levels decreased. The rogue compounds broke down into harmless components. Earth's atmosphere had survived its second brush with manufactured apocalypse. In the aftermath, the full extent of the conspiracy unraveled. 23 corporations across 17 worlds were implicated. 32 Alliance officials were removed from their positions. The entire atmospheric monitoring protocol was redesigned with multiple independent verification systems. 1 year later, Lena stood on the observation deck of the newly established Galactic Atmospheric Science Academy, orbiting Earth. Below her, the planet shone blue and vibrant, its atmosphere cleaner than it had been in centuries, thanks to the regeneration technologies developed during the crisis. Beside her stood Tyrix, Amara, and Matt, her core team now expanded to include scientists from across the Alliance. The first class of International Atmospheric Guardians graduates tomorrow, Amara said, reviewing the roster on her tablet. 200 specialists from 75 worlds, each returning home with the knowledge to protect their own atmospheres, Matt added. And the network to call for help if needed. Lena nodded, satisfaction warming her despite the perpetual chill of space. And the new monitoring system? Triple redundant verification, open source algorithms, publicly accessible data streams. Tyrix reported. No single entity can manipulate the readings without triggering immediate alerts. As they spoke, a small memorial service was being held on Earth for those who had lost their lives during the Phoenix attacks. Victor Mail had died in prison, reportedly still insisting that the sky would fall, and that he had only tried to save humanity from itself. "Some days I wonder," Lena said quietly. "What if he genuinely believed he was right? What if he convinced himself the atmospheric collapse was inevitable, and his actions were justified?" "The road to planetary hell is paved with such justifications," Tyrix replied. "But intention doesn't matter when billions of lives hang in the balance. Actions do." The communication panel chimed with an incoming message from Chairman Koresh, now head of the Reformed Alliance Environmental Council. "Dr. Ortiz," he greeted her. "The final amendments to the Atmospheric Rights Accord have been ratified. Every sentient species now has a constitutionally protected right to the atmosphere of their homeworld. No corporation, government, or external authority can interfere without unanimous consent from the planet's population." "That's wonderful news, Chairman. We owe this milestone to you and your team," Koresh acknowledged. "Your courage changed not just Earth's fate, but galactic environmental policy forever." After the transmission ended, Lena gazed once more at Earth, at the swirling clouds, the blue oceans, the green and brown land masses. So much beauty, so nearly lost. "What about the rumors?" Matt asked, breaking the contemplative silence. "The splinter groups still loyal to Phoenix's ideology?" "We monitor them," Tyrix answered. "But their support has dwindled as the truth spread. It's hard to maintain conspiracy theories in the face of open data and transparent science. Nonetheless, we remain vigilant," Lena said. "The atmosphere of every world belongs to all who breathe it, past, present, and future generations. That principle is worth protecting, no matter the cost." As the orbital platform continued its silent journey around Earth, the four friends raised their glasses in a toast, not just to their victory, but to the countless battles yet to come in defense of the air that all life shares. For in that moment, they understood a fundamental truth. The greatest resource isn't gold, or oil, or even water. It's the invisible mixture of gases that enables every breath, every whisper, every song ever sung. And as long as sentient beings inhabit the cosmos, that resource would need guardians to ensure it remained free, clean, and available to all. "To the air we breathe," Lena toasted. "To the sky that unites us," the others responded. And somewhere in the vast reaches of space, other worlds looked up at their own skies with renewed appreciation, knowing that they too were now protected by the most revolutionary idea of all, that an atmosphere belongs not to the powerful, but to every living thing that depends upon it. The blue would endure. They would make certain of it.